Hi, this is Eric from Longbox Review at longboxreview.wordpress.com. Welcome to my previews episode where I take a look at the previews catalog for this month for anything that caught my eye or think that is interesting, either to me or perhaps to you. So let's get right to it. Start off as almost always with Dark Horse. Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 9, Number 12 ends its first year with Buffy versus Wolfram and Hart, which that should be interesting for those that were fans of the Buffy show and Angel, of course. Sort of a crossover there. In Angel and Faith, number 13, Willow is continuing on as a ongoing character, I believe. And we have a new miniseries featuring Spike. This is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Spike, number 1 of 5. This will be something that I'm looking forward to, and I'll be getting, of course. Michael Avon Emmings, The Victories, number 1 of 5. The tagline here reads, "The raunchiest superhero since The Boys." Now, I don't really particularly care about that, but to see Michael doing his own work, writing and doing the art, I'm very interested in that. The preview image is interesting in that there's the use of a lot of blacks here and the sharp angles, which we're used to with Emmings' work on other things such as Powers that I've seen. So anyway, I'm interested in that. There's a new Star Wars miniseries, The Lost Tribe of the Sith, number 1 of 5. It says an all-Sith tale with heroes, anti-heroes, and straight-up villains. Again, I don't read the Star Wars comics, but I know a lot of people do, so I wanted to mention those. This is interesting, a new take on the Christmas Carol story. The Night That Changed the Life of Eliza Scrooge by Rod Espinoza. It's a hardcover, 100 pages, for $20. The cover image certainly looks nice. Oh, this looks interesting. Cherubs, the hardcover by Brian Talbot and Mark Stafford. Falsely accused of heaven's first homicide, 5 churlish cherubim escape to New York in pursuit of the renegade archangel Abaddon on the eve of the apocalypse. On to DC. While that Before Watchmen Ozymandias number 2 image is certainly evocative, I'll say. And more new Before Watchmen series starting. Rorschach, number 1 of 4. And Dr. Manhattan, number 1 of 4. I'm really looking forward to the Dr. Manhattan one, if only for the Adam Hughes art. Just to see what he would do on a monthly series, at least for 4 issues. So this month features the number 12 issues from DC, and we get to the Justice League image with Aquaman in shallow water. I don't know if it's a swamp or what, I can't tell by the background image. But he's holding up Superman and Batman, who appear to be unconscious, floating in the water. And the solicitation reads, "A shocking last page that will have the world talking about this special issue." The now defunct Justice League International series gets an annual. And it teases, will this issue be the final adventure ever for Justice League International? Perhaps on a monthly schedule, that's true. The true nature of OMAC is revealed, and it guest stars Blue Beetle. And I just might pick that up. I got the first 6 issues of Justice League International, and was disappointed by it overall, but all those characters were interesting. And I was really intrigued by the OMAC series. I never picked it up beyond number 1, but I kept hearing how good it was, so I'm going to pick up the trade of that when it comes out. And Blue Beetle is just a fun character. I really like him. Earth 2 number 4 features an image of the new Hawk Girl shooting some guns at what looked like zombie-looking characters. Guns with Hawk Girl, that's interesting. Her helmet, though, looks pretty cool compared to the old style Hawk Girl mask. Kid Flash gets a solo issue in DC Universe Presents number 12. Written by Fabian Nicieza and art by Jorge Jimenez, with a Ryan Sook cover, which of course looks nice. I believe that's just a one-issue story. And do we really need this story yet again in comics? It's been a staple forever. But in Superman Annual number 1, Superman gets abducted by a group of quote-unquote mysterious aliens and dragged to a remote alien galaxy to take part in The Games, a world-hopping game of cat and mouse where players are hunted for sport. Really? Do we really need that story again? Batman Incorporated number 4, featuring Wingman and Redbird. Wingman, just think about that for a second. I'm going to become a Dark Avenger of the Night, and I'm going to call myself Wingman. That's ridiculous. But it's by Grant Morrison, so I got to give him the benefit of the doubt here. Batman number 12 features the epilogue to the Court of Owls, and the next major storyline begins. As much as I've enjoyed the Court of Owls in the Batman title, overall, the event or mini event or whatever you want to call it, it's okay. It's been okay. It's just been all of the Bat family fighting against the Talons, and I just didn't think it was all that great from that standpoint. But I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next from Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Batwoman number 12, J.H. Williams III returns as artist. It's interesting how the number 12s seem to be, at least in a small part, the start of new storylines. So apparently they're not writing for a 6-issue trade any longer. Perhaps. Ooh, Batgirl number 12. Batgirl battles Batwoman, and it says Nightfall strikes. I'm not sure what Nightfall is in this new DC universe, but that cover by Stanley Lau looks really nice. Green Lantern Annual number 1, the conclusion of the Revenge of Black Hand, which I'm just now starting to read, but I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. And it also says everything changes here, and just in case you missed it, it says everything in all caps! Exclamation point. It's got a cover reminiscent of the old Superman Death with the Green Lantern logo on a black background, and it's dripping as if it's bleeding. Green, of course. Animal Man number 12 is where I jump back onto the title, because it is the prelude to Rot World, which is the crossover event between Animal Man and Swamp Thing. And this is the first part of that tale. It continues in Swamp Thing number 12. Man, I kind of wish I'd kept on with Stormwatch, because number 12 features a battle between the Martian Manhunter and the rest of Stormwatch. It says, a major turning point for the DC Universe as Martian Manhunter quits Stormwatch forever. So does this mean that the Martian Manhunter will move over to the Justice League? Or what? What are they going to do with the Martian Manhunter? Here we go. Superman Earth 1 Volume 2 by JMS and Shane Davis. So this is what JMS quit working on the Superman and Wonder Woman titles a couple years ago to do. So we get the continuation of that story. You know, I did a review of Superman Earth 1 way back when, of the Long Box Review podcast. And I'm looking forward to this. I enjoyed that, especially the Shane Davis art. I really like that. So looking forward to seeing what this brings us. Also new is Phantom Lady number 1, written by Justin Gray and Jimmy Palmiotti, with art by Kat Staggs and Rich Perrotta, with an Amanda Connor cover. Features, of course, the eponymous Phantom Lady, and features her partner in crime fighting, the say this 5 times fast. Never mind. The small guy called Dollman. Diminutive Dynamo. I can't even do it. Never mind. I'd really like to pick this up, but I don't know. I really have no interest in that character, but it does have Gray and Palmiotti writing, so. National Comics continues with their one-shot examinations of other characters in the DCU, this time featuring Looker. And apparently it's a digital-first title. And they're continuing with Looker being a vampire in this new universe. For you Amethyst fans, there's the new Showcase Presents edition, Amethyst Princess of Gemworld Volume 1. For $20, you get 648 pages. I never was really into Amethyst, but I've heard from many people that they really enjoyed that series, so maybe I should pick that up and take a look at it. This is really enticing. The Sandman slipcase set. It says this beautiful slipcase set includes all 10 individual trade paperback volumes of Neil Gaiman's seminal award-winning fantasy series. Looks really nice. It does say, a retailer's note here, a version of this slipcase containing only the Sandman Volume 10, the Wake trade paperback new edition, will be made available at a later date. Scalp number 60, the final issue, being resolicited. I recently read Volume 1 of that of the trade version and loved it so much I went out and bought 2 more, and I'll be getting the rest of that series. Moving on to IDW. For you Godzilla fans, there's a new miniseries, The Half-Century War, number 1 of 5. This is all by James Stokoe, featuring a character who encounters Godzilla when he first lands in Japan in 1954. And as it says, in the process begins an obsession with the king of the monsters that lasts 50 years. I love those old Godzilla movies, but I have no interest in the comics. Here's a new Love and Capes miniseries, What to Expect, number 1 of 6 by Tom Zoller. Mark and Abby, Comicdom's favorite couple, is having a baby and they're not telling anyone yet. But will they be able to keep a secret from Darkblade, the world's best detective? And what problems come about when you're expecting a super baby? I've never read Love and Capes, but I've heard that they are fun. And you Joe Kubert fans out there, IDW has another artist edition, this time featuring Joe Kubert's Tarzan of the Apes. Oh, this looks interesting. I hadn't noticed this one before until I started recording, but Memorial, which is a hardcover for $25 by Chris Robertson, writing, Rich Ellis doing the art, Mike Colluta doing a cover. Memorial is the story of M, a young woman who arrives at a hospital in Portland, Oregon with no memory of her past. But a year later, she has rebuilt her life only to find her existence thrown into turmoil after she inherits a magical shop. M is drawn into a supernatural conflict between beings that not only represent but are fundamental elements of the universe itself. It certainly sounds interesting, although I have to say I'm not a big fan of Chris Robertson's writing. I'll keep an eye out for the reviews on that one. Maybe pick it up later. Well, this is the previews featuring slipcase editions. So we had the Sandman one that I mentioned earlier, and now we have Angel After the Fall slipcase collection, featuring volumes 1 through 4. I read the first 2 After the Fall that I got from Fearless Readers Online for pretty cheap, and I wanted to get the rest of those, so I won't be picking this up because this is $60, but I would like to read the rest of that story. Moving on to Image Comics. Black Kiss 2, number 1 of 6. Here's Howard Chaykin returning to this. I'm not familiar with the Black Kiss series that came before this, but it's Howard Chaykin, so I probably will pick this up in trade. Now here's a situation where if the cover artist was doing the interiors, I might be really drawn to getting this. This is It Girl and the Atomics, number 1. I believe it's a new ongoing. The story by James Rich and art by Mike Norton. but the covers are by Mike and Laura Allred, at least on this one. There's nothing I have against Mike Norton's artwork, but I really like the Allred stuff, so I'd like to see them doing this. Considering the titles that Image has been coming out with recently, I always take a look at the new titles that they solicit. Not that I necessarily get them all, but I'm certainly going to read the solicitation and seriously think about getting it. Because just about every time I've taken that chance with an Image title, it's paid off very well. So here's two of them. Think Tank by Matt Hawkins and Rasan, I'm going to get this wrong, I'm sure, I apologize, Ekadel and Brian Reber. And the other one is Harvest, which is a miniseries by A.J. Lieberman and Colin Lorimer. The preview pages they have here certainly look good. And I've read only the first 2 issues of this so far. I haven't gotten the third. I'm hoping my comic shop will get that for me. The Manhattan Project's Volume 1 trade. I think maybe I should have just waited for the trade on that one. Anyway, I enjoyed the first 2 issues. Here we go. It's back. I lamented not on the podcast, but on the Longbox Review blog about last month's previews, since I was sick and I didn't record it. But I did post about last month's previews. I lamented how Danger Club was not solicited. And here it is, Danger Club number 4 by Landry Walker and Eric Jones. So I'm glad to see that back. And in that post, I did get a response from Landry Walker, which was really cool, telling me that Danger Club is actually on a 6-week rotation. So it's not going to be in every previews. So be aware of that. Don't think that they stopped it or canceled the series. I really think you should pick this up and promote Danger Club. So I really like that series. Supreme continues with number 67. Eric Larson doing just about everything on it, but featuring what looks to be a fight between Supreme and Invincible's Omni-Man, for those that like that kind of stuff. Marvel is up next. And first off, I wanted to make note of The Avenging Spider-Man number 10, continuing Captain Marvel's appearance in that title, so I'll be getting that, of course. And double shipping, which a lot of the Marvel titles are this month, I see, is Avenging Spider-Man number 11, and it's, as they say, a special 50th anniversary story. There's a lot of, because of Spider-Man's 50th anniversary this year, there's a lot of stuff going on as far as that goes. But here he teams up with the hero he admires most, May Parker. And speaking of the 50th anniversary, here's another special issue, Amazing Spider-Man number 692. And you can get, there's a lot of different variant covers here. And at least in the previous catalog, they're all different colors as the main color set. There's a yellow and black one, there's a red and black one, a black and white one, and a white and blue one. The yellow one features the classical image of the radioactive spider biting Peter's hand. The red and black one, which, because I'm considering ordering this, and depending on the price point of these variant covers, I like to get this one, and this is Spider-Man holding Gwen Stacy after she's died. And then the black and white one, of course, is the symbiote. And the blue and white one is, actually I'm not sure, but all these people are coming after Spider-Man. Some of them dressed as Spider-Man. Maybe it was that Spider Island thing, I don't know. But I'm not familiar with that one. Anyway, the number 692 is a $6 comic, 64 pages. And because of Alan Davis's involvement in these next 2 titles, I am seriously considering getting these, although do I really want to get drawn into another Thor story? But The Mighty Thor number 18 and Journey into Mystery number 642, written by Matt Fraction and art and cover by Alan Davis. This is the Everything Burns story. If Alan Davis is doing the art, I'm really interested in that. And 2 books I'm looking forward to, both double shipping: Captain Marvel 2 and 3, and Daredevil 16 and 17. I should note with number 17, Paulo Rivera returns to the art. And just in time for the Avengers movie, here's a new Hawkeye series, number 1, written by Matt Fraction with art by David Aja. Or it's Aja. It says here, the breakout star of this summer's blockbuster Avengers film and self-made hero Hawkeye fights for justice. Really? Breakout star? I don't think so. And man, I wish I'd paid more attention to the Dark Tower, the Gunslinger, the Man in Black miniseries. I need to go back and look, because here, number 3 at least, written by Peter David with Robin Firth, but Alex Malev's doing the art on that. I think that team would be really good for that story. So I might have to look for that in trade at least. And really, Space Punisher? I don't remember if I noted this on the blog for last month's preview stuff, but Space Punisher is fighting the Hulk on this cover image, but the Punisher he's wearing a cape. What the hell? This is just so wrong on many levels. Back to Alan Davis, he is continuing his Marvel Tales storyline in some annuals. Started in the FF Annual 33 that was, I believe, solicited 2 months ago, if I remember correctly, which I probably don't. But it continues here and finishes with Daredevil Annual number 1, and then the finale in the Wolverine Annual number 1. So it's all Alan Davis, writer, art, and cover. And yes, I will be getting those, even though I don't read Wolverine. However, what I won't be getting is this first X-Men miniseries by Neil Adams and Christos Gage, and I say that only because I have no interest in Neil Adams' work right now. That whole Batman Odyssey thing just left a really bad taste in my mouth, and the preview art here just does not entice me. I used to love Neil Adams' work, but I do not like it anymore. Well, at least based on these images. So Hawkeye gets a new series, so I guess Gambit does now too. Gambit number 1 and 2 is being solicited, an all-new ongoing. I don't read this, but this image for Astonishing X-Men number 53 looks pretty cool, with Wolverine. You kind of see like the outline of him, and you get like an X-ray of his internal bone structure there, and then in the middle of his body is what looks to be like an atomic bomb. Interesting image. The cover is by Dustin Weaver. Speaking of interesting covers, or at least good-looking covers, here's the New Mutants number 47 and 48 by John Tyler Christopher. Those look fantastic. If this guy was doing interior art, I would probably buy anything that he does, if it was this quality. Oh, good lord. Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, number 1 of 4. Number 1-4 of 4. I don't get that. Are they soliciting all 4 this month? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Here we go. I should read these things before I speak. It's a weekly title, so there you go. Yes. Yeah, I have no interest in that whatsoever. Oh, I didn't know this. So we have the Marvel Season 1 trades that they've been putting out. They've done Spider-Man, Avengers, I believe, Fantastic Four, Daredevil, which I really wanted to get, but I did not order. I need to get that. Here's one. I didn't realize they were doing this. Doctor Strange, Season 1. Written by Greg Pak. Penciled by Emma Rios, who's not my favorite artist, but... So anyway, if you like the Doctor Strange character, you want to see this Season 1 take on him, I guess. There you go. For those of you that were waiting for the trade for Fear Itself, here's the trade paperback. Collecting Fear Itself, Book of the Skull, and Fear Itself number 1 through 7 for $30, 248 pages. There's a bunch of these Fear Itself trade collections. The Avengers version, Journey into Mystery version, Thunderbolts, Fear Itself Fallout Journey into Mystery trade. Here we go, the 12 volume 2 trade. So maybe I should now order the 12 volume 1 and 2 and read that story. Oh, here's something I really like, but I prefer it in not the Essential format, but the Essential Warlock Volume 1. I love that Warlock character. I have some old reprints. I think they put them out in the late 80s, early 90s perhaps. Love that stuff. The over-the-top cosmic opera stuff, especially when Jim Starlin's involved. And now for the rest of the catalog. I know you probably get tired of hearing me talk about this, but you have the Rachel Rising Volume 1 trade, The Shadow of Death. You get the first 6 issues of this really interesting and amazingly drawn by Terry Moore series for $17. Get it. Please. Red Circle Comics is coming out with a New Crusaders, The Rise of the Heroes. Oh, here we go. From Aspen, Idolized. I did order the number 0 issue, and here's the number 1. It says here, featuring a very special photo cover starring Victoria's Secret supermodel Rachel Clark. Or you can get a Arthur Adams cover. Anyway, it says here, what would a real world filled with superheroes look like? In this all-new series, it gets ugly as a young girl next door named Jewel, spelled like the electrical related word, reveals her tortured past in her desperate attempt to revenge, all while auditioning in front of the cameras and judges of the hot new TV show Superhero Idol. We'll see how that goes. I'm getting really tired of these Lady Mechanica reorders. You can get number 0, 1, and 2 reordered in this month's previews. I just wish that Joe Benitez would just come out with, I believe, number 4? I think I have the first 3 issues. Well, 4 if you count the number 0, but... Boom is coming out with a new, I believe it's an ongoing, Steed and Mrs. Peel number 0. See, here we go again with a stupid number 0 thing. I wish they'd stop doing that. Anyway, this is written by Mark Waid, which of course raises my interest level, with art by Steve Bryant. It says here, the all-time favorite Avengers episode, A Touch of Brimstone, that inspired legendary X-Men team Chris Claremont and John Byrne to create Marvel's Hellfire Club. An enduring hero/villain, the White Queen, continues with this brand new ongoing series. Yep, from Daredevil and Irredeemable's Mark Waid. It takes place in the continuity of the original TV series. Find out how the hottest super spy duo of all time takes on the dreaded Hellfire Club. So yeah, I'm interested in this, so I might have to pick up that number 0 issue. Wow, I'd really like to get this. The Dynamite Art of Alex Ross hardcover. Except this time, you can get it signed and remarked by Alex Ross for $200. Or if you just want it signed by Alex Ross without any remarks, you can get it for $70. Or if you just get the book and it's just $40. $200 for having him sign it and remark it. Oh, but it does include an original hand-drawn sketch by Alex Ross, so there you go. This is funny. Oni Press is coming out with Mike Norton's The Curse. It says here, in 2009, Mike Norton took the 24-hour comic challenge and created the pugtastic comic The Curse over the course of a single day. He returned with sequels spawned during the 24-hour comic events in 2010 and 11. Now all 3 tales of pirates and pugs are available in print in this new collection for $15. Looks kind of fun. The Six Gun number 24 starts a new storyline, Winter Wolves, which is a nice looking snow-covered cover. I was thinking about dropping that book, but probably will stick around for that storyline. I like the book. It's just I want it to go somewhere and actually do something else besides what it's been doing for however many issues that are out right now. It's a really good book, though. Don't get me wrong. I like it. For those of you that are interested in comics history, here's Image Comics' The Road to Independence softcover book for $35, giving the history of the creators that formed one of the most influential publishers in comics. While I have no real interest in the Valiant Comics line, what I do enjoy from the company is how they're rolling out their titles. They've been coming out with a new title every month, and so they're not flooding the market with like 6 titles all at once. So I really appreciate that strategy, and I hope it's working out for them. But they have a new one this month. It's listed Archer Armstrong. I am woefully Valiant ignorant, so I never read this stuff when it first came out, and so therefore I have no interest in it now, other than just a passing curiosity about what is the big deal with all this Valiant stuff, and why do people like it so much. The latest issue of Alter Ego, number 112, features Superman, featuring Paul Cassidy, the second, or it says, or third, Superman artist ever, and a look at the Mort Weisinger era, including an interview with his son, with art by Joe Shuster, Wayne Boring, Murphy Anderson, Al Plastino, and others. So, if you like Superman history, there you go. Oh, the 10-year-old in me really would like to read this. This is By Your Command, the unofficial and unauthorized guide to Battlestar Galactica Volume 1, the original series, and Galactica 1980. It says here, in this book, the authors use behind-the-scenes material and in-depth analyses of both screened episodes and unmade stories to explore how Battlestar Galactica interwove relevant political and religious themes into the traditional space opera format to produce a television program which is never less than entertaining and frequently thought-provoking. I don't know about that, but it was entertaining. I've always loved Battlestar Galactica in all its incarnations so far. And speaking of a sci-fi series I love, you get the Firefly, a Celebration Anniversary Edition hardcover. The publisher Titan came out with 3 volumes, the Illustrated Companion Volumes 1 and 2, and a Still Flying volume, talking about the series and all the stuff related to it. And now they're publishing this, so it's just a collection of all 3 of those volumes in a hardcover edition for $50. Here's another anniversary edition of a magazine, Star Trek magazine number 41, celebrating 25 years of the Next Generation. So I may have to pick that one up. I like that anniversary stuff. It's kind of fun to look back on that. And 25 years since the Next Generation debuted. That's crazy. I feel old. And in preparation for Halloween, they're advertising a bunch of costumes that look pretty damn good. Some of them anyway. The Iron Man, Thor, and Black Widow costumes look really good. Oh, here's a nice Loki, the deluxe costume. That's nice. Oh, but here we go. You get, I can't believe they did this. This is so weird and kind of cool too. But Blackest Night, DC's Blackest Night event that you can get costumes and masks. And my God, that Hawkman zombie, that looks really creepy. Here's a couple cool things. First of all is a mini bust of Moon Knight. That looks really neat. So this is from, I guess, Gentle Giant. Gentle Giant brings you the classic Moon Knight as designed by Doug Munch and Don Perlin. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then a couple pages over from that, you get a Spider-Woman mini bust. But next to that, this is the really cool thing. A Battlestar Galactica Colonial Viper helmet replica signed edition. Oh my God, I would love to have that. Cast in high quality fiberglass and resin, with LED lighting effects. Oh yeah. The helmet is signed by both Richard Hatch and Dirk Benedict, limited to an edition of 500 pieces, so that's got to be several $100s, I'm sure. But still cool looking. Or, if you want to, settle for this, you can get a Stormtrooper helmet replica. Okay, now I'm upset. This happens a lot, I've noticed over the years. I'm a big Daffy Duck fan, and it seems like Daffy Duck always gets short shrift. And here we go. We have the Toon Tumblers Looney Tunes pint glasses set. You get... Well, they're showing 11 here. And none of them are Daffy Duck. You get Pepe Le Pew, for God's sake, but you don't have Daffy Duck? And that stupid... The singing frog. There you go. That's an insult right there. The singing frog gets a glass, but Daffy Duck doesn't get one? That's ridiculous. And on that note, that's my look at previews. This month's previews for things that are shipping in August and beyond. Remember, you can always leave feedback by emailing me at longboxreview@gmail.com, or you can leave comments at the blog or on the Facebook page as well. Follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Please leave a review at iTunes. I would appreciate that very much. And as always, thanks for listening.
Thank you.